All right, welcome to The Secret Life of Therapists. I'm your host, Dr. Habiba Zaman. I have my fellow therapist, Monica, here with me. Hey,
Hello.
Monica. I'm a little Texan, y'all. Well, maybe I should say that, but it is what it is. So welcome. Thank you for being here with me.
Well, thank you for having me.
Girl, yes. I've been waiting to have you on here. All the different perspectives. I mean, like, even just now, it's 2026 for whoever watches this 10 years from now.
Mhm.
Summer 2026, and the way it is, I was telling you a little bit earlier, I can't imagine living in Texas right now.
It's hard. I think that I have to choose my battles or I'd be battling every day.
I don't know if my heart rate can take it, honestly. Forget my temper. You know, what was the thing you were saying that you have to read?
It says, does this need to be said by me? Does this need to be said by me now? And then, I'm sorry, I messed it up. Does this need to be said? Does this need to be said by me? And then does this need to be said by me now?
See, I've taught my children that.
Mm-hmm.
And my face, my eldest, he just went off to college. I just took him to college. It's ridiculous. Because you knew me then, right? When he was in my belly.
Yes.
So he's just started now, and what was he? He's sassy. My children are sassy, very, very sassy.
Okay.
You know, I don't know why. I don't know where that comes from because I'm so chill. So they're sassy.
Right.
And he was just like, I said it again, especially being downtown, right? You're going to be living downtown. I need you to be very, very mindful of what comes out your mouth and why. And also being a brown boy.
Right.
Right. Beautiful brown boy, but still a brown boy.
Right.
It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, did you think to say that to your face? And I'm like,
good one.
You know what, my child? Mommy loves you very, very much.
Right. Exactly.
Keep it moving. Keep it moving.
Now, is he going to Georgia State or is he going?
Tech, actually.
Okay.
Tech, yeah. Yeah, he does. You know, we did the puzzles of humans. He does the puzzles of technology.
Okay. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, he wanted to get as far away. I really thought that they would, either one of them would actually do some kind of therapy. They have the empathy of like 40-year-olds. Honestly. Worldview, understanding. Obviously, I've therapized the crap out of my children. Like, you will be the contribution, the healthy contribution to this world, if I can help it.
Right.
However, they're like, no. Why? No. Why? You're sad all the time. And I was like, I'm not.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And you see me in between sessions, especially in the summer, right? And like, we're taught to not be too invested. We're taught, you know, don't give too much. We're taught all these things. I don't know if I've ever followed those rules. I know why it's there, right? It's to prevent you from being burnt out, but I care too much, and it's true.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, especially the work that you're doing now. Tell us about that. You can't not care and do what you do.
Yeah. So I work in a FQHC. So it's a rural medical. We have medical. We have family medicine. We have psychiatric, and we have counseling. So a lot of things have changed with the current government and our funding. So and our population is a lot of undocumented, a lot of people of low means, and a lot of seniors. So we deal with a lot of that area. I think the unfortunate thing is there's just not a lot of resources. So instead of, I'm a counselor, but I'm also a case manager. I'm also, hey, do you have transportation here? Hey, here are the food banks. And stuff like that. So I think for me, it's a little frustrating because I know there's resources there. It's just what we choose to apply the things that we have to the certain resources. See, I'm learning how to watch my words. But yeah, so I mean, it's just disheartening, I think, because people want the help. It takes a lot to step out and say, hey, I need the help, and then there's no real resources, especially in a rural area.
And that's my biggest issue. I was talking to a young one, right? Early 20s, about the stigma and how hard it was for people. Because I was explaining to him, like, hey, if I see you out and about, you may or may not recognize me. First of all, I'm probably going to look like I'm, living under a bridge somewhere, because that's how, when I'm not in. And that's what that's what I look like. And I'll probably have my kids with me, and I'll probably give like the the very immigrant big eye, like over here, right? That kind of look.
Right.
So
Yeah.
different energy from maybe what you see Habiba to be in session. Definitely different look and everything. I was like, but I won't be able to, even if I recognize you, I won't be able to like, hey, how's it going? Right.
Yeah.
And he didn't understand that. He was like, well, why not? Do you just not want to be associated with me? I was like, it's not you. It's usually the other way around.
Right.
And I was like, it's probably there from way back when, because there was such a stigma on mental health and seeking out mental health that if you're calling somebody out, they might feel exposed. And, you know, and I love that nowadays people are getting therapy and really advocating for it. And they're just like, no, you need to figure your stuff out, because let's not carry this on to everybody.
Absolutely.
And I was trying to explain that, and he just had this blank look on his face, and he was just like, why wouldn't anybody want to be associated with you, though? And I was like, I love you. That's nice. That's great. Thank you. However, I was like, if you approach me, not a big deal, right? I'd be like, hey, how's it going? I probably still won't divulge anything just because we don't. But you're welcome. But he really just genuinely did not, he couldn't conceptualize the level of stigma. But again, he's just now 20.
Right.
And then, of course, there's my children. They've had to deal with this their whole lives.
Right.
And then all the concepts and therapy stuff that I've taught, communication skills, this, that, and they both have their own therapists as well. Because again, right, you got to work through your stuff. You have to know your stuff, and I can't be their therapist. I want them to be healthy young men. And it's just, none of them can ever conceptualize how hard it is for people to seek out therapy, especially minorities. And minority men. Like just 2 days ago, I think I was like, I don't know. I've been on this roller coaster of emotions. I want to blame it on the full moon, whatever. Right? It is what it is, but I have been definitely on a roller coaster. And at one point I was like, I think I was doing laundry, and I was like, I am so proud. Genuinely, I was like overcome with pride with the male clients that I have, especially like young Black men, right? Or even the older Black men. Because I know, I mean, forget, I have no Desis, nobody from South Asia. I wish they would, that we're not there yet.
Understood.
The next thing I'm like, is like the Black men, right? I'm just like, good for you. I'm so proud of you guys for doing this. And then tolerating it from me on top of that, right? Like wanting to still be like, all right, I'm letting this person challenge me, and I'm being open with it, and I'm learning these, and it just makes me so happy.
Yeah. And you know, I think I see a lot of elderly clients, and their thing is that, why did it take me so long to get here? And so then we have to talk about, okay, well, you know, generationally, how were your parents brought up? How was society back then? And then for a lot of my I guess my age guys, it's, you know, we talk about the negative core values, like, you know, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, men don't cry, and all the things that we're taught. But then we expect them to be in a relationship and understand how to emotionally express themselves. So it's kind of working a lot with them of, you know, breaking those generational curses. And it's okay if you cry. You know, it's okay if, you know, you don't have it all together. You know, so nobody.
Right. No. Are your ducks in a row? Like mine are in a mariachi band, I swear. You know, belly dancing along somewhere. Like, no part of it's in a row.
Right. Exactly. And the one thing I use with a lot of my clients is, I know, you know, we went to the same school, and it's not the whole self-disclosure, but I said, my mother is very happy that I'm not the way I am now that I was at 16. So letting you know that therapists, you know, we're still somebody, we're still people, we still make mistakes. And, you know, just making it like, hey, I'm human, you're human, and, you know, we can go on this journey together. So I think for me, just bringing that down to earth kind of helps me a lot, because I'm not going to, you know, to sit across and tell me how you're feeling today. I'm like, no, how's your day? What's going on? You know?
I wanted you on here because, you know, we know I'm not. I want to, and then there's my face.
Exactly. Yes, my face gives me away all the time. One of my clients, I have this, and she breaks down laughing because she's like, yeah, you caught me. I did. And she's like, well, let me tell you what happened. So I think just humanizing therapists, I think is a huge part to allow people to come back. So I make sure I always do my intakes, make sure I always thank them for coming and being vulnerable in a space where sometimes it's hard. So, you know, but I think Georgia State did a good job on this.
It was great.
Yeah.
I think the education that we received was top tier. It was fantastic, and it was difficult, and it
Sure.
needed to be difficult,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. I
All the
don't even,
things that we learned, and our professors too.
yes. I don't know
Who
if you
was your
remember that.
favorite?
Say again?
Who are your favorite professors? Do you remember?
Oh, of course. Dr. Orr.
Dr. Orr, mine too.
Yes.
Dr. Orr and Dr. Brack. Dr.
Yes.
Brack made such
Yep.
a
And then my
huge difference
supervisor,
in
Dr.
my
Flowers.
experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
Do you remember
But
the activity we did in Dr. Orr's class about privilege, where we went and he took his shoe off and we were in the courtyard? I
yes.
still think of that and how powerful that was.
Yes. Okay, so tell everybody what that was so they know.
I don't necessarily know the exact name of it. Basically, we're out there, there's about 30 of us, and we all start on one line, and Dr. Orr takes his shoe off, of course, and he walks up and he says, anybody that meets this shoe gets an A. And so he started rattling his questions off. If you grew up in a two-parent household, step forward. If you grew up with access to books, step forward. If you grew up to access this, and then so at the end, he said, the people in the front turn around and see where everyone else is standing. And I remember I can't think the young lady's name. She started crying. She says, I didn't think that y'all would be ahead of me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was like, that's a very powerful exercise because it shows people, it visualizes that what I think and what really is may necessarily not be the correct thing.
Right. Our perception definitely doesn't always match reality.
Not at all. Not at all. And I will say
that one was very profound when it came. I cried. I wasn't her, but I did cry.
Yes.
Because, I felt very exposed for how far back I was.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, I was a new mom, right? And I was like, oh, it's going to be so different. It's going to be so different for them. It's going to be so different for me. And then it was like a mirror at that time. I have these words for it now. I didn't have it then. Right. Yeah. I just knew that I felt very, very uncomfortable and very exposed. And I didn't realize, not necessarily, shame's not the correct word for it. But the struggles that I had growing up, how much of that defined how hard I throw myself into everything that I do so that I can be like the other ones that were much, farther ahead.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I still talk about that exercise. And I will say, even for me, I grew up in a two-parent household until my father, passed away. And I didn't honestly know, and this is the honest truth, I didn't know people didn't go on summer vacations with their families because that's something that I always did. So, and we'd go here, we'd go there. And when I said it and somebody was like, no, Monica, and it was almost like a realization that even for an African-American woman, I was very privileged growing up. And I would have never thought that until I made that comment. They're like, no, Monica, everyone doesn't go on family vacations every summer. And I was like, oh. So it made me look at myself and it made me be more mindful of the things that I say.
Yeah.
And that I don't have to be Caucasian. I still have privilege and I need to mind my privilege when I talk to other people. So, and I think that was in middle school, but I still think of that I'm still very privileged.
And I do think that's something that needs to be taught, right? Because again, perspective.
Right.
My children that, I've always been like, you need to recognize how privileged you are. You need to recognize how privileged you are. With just everything that I give them, right? Like I throw everything at them for very much the reasons that I told you, right? Because I want them to have all the things that I didn't. And I think, what is it, like 4% of the population in the US has ever been outside of the country.
Yeah.
So it's really low. I can't tell you where I got that statistic from right now off the top of my head, but I remember seeing that and I showed it to them and I was just like, so all the international trips I've taken you on, people don't get that in their lifetime.
Exactly. Yeah.
Recognize that. But then also, where they're going to school and everything. The reason I moved over here is so they could have the diversity. I wanted them to have and be around so many diverse people, right? It wasn't one primary anything. and have, again, the best access to school and education and all the things. But culturally, I wanted them to be not ever wondering or feeling like an other, like I did. That's something that I struggled with. And the kids here, though, damn, talk about not knowing their own privilege.
Yeah.
And the cars that they drive, and I was just like, oh, homie, let me tell you, that is not going to happen. And I wouldn't even if I could.
Right. Yeah.
You gonna get a Honda Civic just like mommy did.
Absolutely. From point
A. My dad goes, oh, her first car was a sports car, and I was like, what is wrong with you? Why would you say that out loud?
Right. Yeah.
You know, it was a 1995, I think. But it was my dad's dream car. So again, you see kind of that generational of let me give our children, right? Everybody does that. Like, we'll give them what we didn't have. And that was his dream car that he gave to me, that he bought for me until I destroyed it. And then I got my Civic. He's like, we're not doing this. My son wanted a sports car. And I was like, absolutely not. You will not. No chance in hell. That is my blood going through that body, that you are not going to have a sports car. Well, hers was. And I was like, whose side are you on?
His grandchildren.
So, again, that even if I could afford it, I'm not gonna. Yeah. You're not gonna have that. Yeah. That's wait till you're in your 40s and then you can have it.
Right. Well, what do you think the balance comes in? Because I know, breaking generational curses and things like that. And some parents seem to kind of overcompensate. Did you find that you had a balance, or did you feel like that it was a little out of balance?
So, like when I was growing up?
No, when you were giving to your children, sometimes
I overthink. Yeah, I overthink the fuck out of everything. So there's a list somewhere. What am I gonna give versus what I should give, right? What's reasonable, what's not. And then also being a single mom, right? Like it was like I also need to be able to afford this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it was I guarantee you I have a pro and con list somewhere. I do. And it was like I'm a analytical and very logical person. So it was like check.
Yeah.
You will not have the car that I want. I don't even have the car that I want.
Exactly.
But also from the perspective of you're going to destroy your first car. Everybody destroys their first car. You're learning, right? You're going to hit a curb. I still be hitting curbs because short lady can't see over the hood.
Yeah. Yep, I understand.
So something needs to be able to tolerate that kind of abuse on their car, right? I think he washed it the first 2 months and then it hasn't been washed since. So not even for money. I was like, do you want to wash everybody's cars and I'll give you money? And he was like, no, mine can stay dirty. I'm like, this is, yeah, I got you the right car. You just you keep living on it the way you are, to your capacity. But no, I'm very mindful of my shadows and how they show up and where they show up. The need to compensate, overcompensate for a lot of things. And then choosing not to, because I don't need little brats.
No.
Especially little men, right? Young men. No, that audacity and entitlement and privilege, like, no.
Yeah. And, I think that I don't overcompensate because of my childhood. I overcompensate because how I was treated in the military.
Yes.
So when I think about that, I remember this one thing that this chief told me, Mr. Master Chief, he said, you're a little black girl with a big ass mouth. Because I'm like, hey, if I don't like something, I'm going to say it. And still, I've done my work. Still, that's the first thing that pops into my brain when I do things in my career. Like, is it good enough? Is it this? Is it that? And it's just sometimes I tell people, and not minimizing physical abuse at all, sometimes the emotional, it sticks longer because my bruises heal, my bones mend, but those thoughts, And so that does live in the back of my brain. So I overcompensate. I do things, professionally, and I still don't feel like I do things enough.
Yes.
So it's working within myself to say, okay, that is enough, So I think just along the way, we kind of pick up things to make us overcompensate or perfectionists. And, what did Dr. Orr tell us? Therapists need therapists?
100%.
Very true statement.
100%.
Yeah.
And not just burnout, right? Not just even like the common sense things, but I do like my day is 6 straight hours.
Okay.
I don't take a break because also my brain doesn't know how to take a break. So whenever I was incorporating some kind of lunch or a break in there, I'm doing emails, I'm texting people, I'm eating while typing notes or billing or whatever. So I wasn't taking a break. It was just my day was ending much later. And so now I'd rather just I do 8 to 2 and it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
And then now I'm done. Except you're not, but whatever, right? At least that the session part is done.
Right. Yeah.
And then, I'm doing the podcasts now, which I love doing. And because I want this, everything that you're saying, I want all of this out there, right? I want the healthy, non-toxic version of what we see out there sometimes, right?
Yeah.
To kind of help balance the voices that are out there. And then I have 3 other businesses, right? So if it's even yesterday, I was like, I'm gonna write in a book.
Just off the top of your head.
Why? Why? I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Okay.
At the end of the day, I am tired. So I am making time to do all the things that I need to do for work, but then also the things that bring me joy.
Absolutely.
Right? Believe it or not, like this brings me joy. Reconnecting with you and talking about you and your perspective and life and all of this brings me joy. And it's still work.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
The other things that I do also brings me lots of joy. Very fulfilling.
Right.
And it's still energy that's being used. And so I had to learn that it's okay to say, sit down.
Yes.
Sit your ass down is what I tell my children.
Yes.
Mama needs to sit her ass down.
Yep.
They're like, please go. What are you like? What are you doing?
Yeah. To just sit and be okay with being okay, not doing anything, feeling that you have to be productive at all times.
Or even just the little things like dinner. I'm making ossobuco. Why? It's delicious.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
But, I haven't been like, this is my first moment home. Like I told you, I like ran home to do this because I was taking care of a friend who had surgery. And, because that's what you do, right? Like I was there overnight, made sure she didn't die on me. Right. Exactly. All of that. At one point, I thought she was going to throw something at me. Right. Because I think I went in there 4 times and just like looking over her, like, bitch breathing. Right. Without like I used to do with my kids. Oh my God. And she would like twitch or like just move a little. I was like, all right, she's good. And I'm going to try to go back to bed.
Right. So you were mothering her.
I was 100% mothering her. Made her dinner last night, made her breakfast this morning before I left. And my session started at 8.
Okay.
Right. So got her meds ready. She's probably like, bitch, are you going to leave yet? Like, I need you to leave.
I need to rest.
I know she was great, but she was grateful that I was there, which is, again, this is what you do for people you love. But I'm pretty sure she was like, this chick needs to get the fuck out of this house. Leave me alone for a little bit. And I wouldn't say anything. I'd just be like,
like,
you good. And I still do it to my kids. It's terrible. Right. But then I did all of my sessions and then came home. So my kids haven't seen me. My cats haven't seen me. Right. And then I'm like, da, 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 da. And then I'm like, I can work out after my podcast is done. Why? And then I'm going to make ossobuco. Like, why? That should take 6 hours.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Definitely a labor of love.
but it's good though.
Okay.
But again, that is me overcompensating because I knew I was going to be gone yesterday.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
knew I was going to be gone, so I have to cook this amazing meal. Why?
Right. I don't know. If either one of us figure out the why, we'd be very wealthy people.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you ever do this? Like, I'll tell my clients, and I always preface it with, I'm going to be a hypocrite right now. What do you think about blank?
Yeah.
And knowing full well, I don't give that to myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of my clients say, well, what did you do for self-care? Touche. Touche. I'll tell you next week when I come, because I'm going to do it now. You're going to ask me.
You know, my biggest thing right now for self-care, and I've had pushback from people, which is why I'm like, well, this is why you and I are not going to be friends.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're already showing me that you're not respecting my boundaries.
Uh-huh.
But they'll be like, come out dancing, because I do Latin dancing and I love it. And it makes me, oh my God, I smile and I laugh and I giggle. And sometimes people are like, what are you laughing at? They think I'm laughing at them. And I'm like, oh my God, no, I'm having fun.
Right.
Like, this is amazing. Like, we just did a move I've never done before. And they're like, oh, okay. Because, you know, like, the other people are usually like straight faced.
Right.
I'm just like, I'm not. I'm the geek out there being like just soaking it all up. Like having the best time of my life. And because I don't take lessons. So I'm learning every time I dance with somebody new.
Really? Because I've seen your videos. You're pretty good.
Oh, thank you. We're therapists. We're great at reading people and body language. So if they can lead, I'm good to follow.
Okay.
So that's why, like, when I land something that I've never done before and it's like intricate, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
You know, or I'll giggle and I'll mess up something and I'll be like, let's do it again. Right. Total geek out, just like I do with psychology. Total geek. Love it so much. However, if I don't have the physical energy, my ankle will give out, my knee will give out, all the in your 40 shit shows up. Yes. Right. And then I get hurt. Yeah. So sometimes when they're like, you know, come out, I'm like, I can't, I'm too tired. Right. Because I'm going to make a mistake and I'm going to get hurt. And so when they push back, I'm like, they're like, well, you need to, you know, looks like you're too busy. What was it? They were like, you need to do this. I was like, I don't have the time for structured lessons right now. Right. But I would love to. Right. But I don't have the time. And they're like, what makes you think that? My responsibilities. Right. Yeah. And I just kind of left it at that. And they were like, well, it's important to do things for you too. And I was like, ha 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 ha. I actually did laugh, but it's not like a cutesy laugh. It's like a
menacing laugh.
Yes, you're activating, you know, demon mode over here. And I was like, well, I'm a mom. Let's start with that. I also have 3 businesses. And that's what it was. They were like, why? Are you Batman? So you're a therapist or psychologist by day, Batman by night. And that was mocking. Okay. Right. And people don't realize that they're not respecting a boundary at that point. I just said, I'd love to, however, I can't. And then when you're asking clarification question, which is totally valid, that's fine. But then I give you my reasoning and then you mock me for it. So that was the activate demon mode, right? Just like, well, I've got all this stuff that I'm doing that's important to me. And then sometimes I'm tired and then I rest. Right. And what I do when I rest is I watch Korean dramas or Chinese dramas or Spanish dramas. Oh my God, my Spanish has been getting much better by watching this drama. I've been talking to my kids in Spanish and, you know, because they're in Spanish classes now. And I haven't touched it since college. Yeah, same here. Right. Of the 4 languages I speak, that's not one of them. And not well, but so I've been really practicing it. And so I'll just say these sentences in Spanish and then my son will be like, it's vas, not voy, vas. You're telling me to leave, right? And I was like, see. But again, you see, like those things bring me fulfillment. And I love doing it. I sit there and I cry watching these shows because that's also one of the ways I allow myself to cry. Right. because, you know, my calendar doesn't always let me schedule in crying session for myself.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
But
Understand.
it's important to cry
It
and
is.
release. It's a
Mhm.
physical release of the emotion that's there. It's healthy, it's natural, it's important. Like you said, you're teaching your clients.
Yeah.
Right. So that I watch these things to activate that
Mhm.
and allow it to release.
Yeah.
And my kids are like, wow,
Yeah.
she is something else.
But those Korean dramas can get you, especially when you start hearing the same music. You know, oh, he's gonna die. Oh, it's not gonna end well.
Oh, the Korean dramas and the Chinese dramas. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Oh, what was it? The Jade something death.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah. I don't think I've
The
seen that
Pearl
one, but I have
Diver was
seen
my
it.
first one.
Mhm.
Have you watched that one? The Pearl Driver? Diver.
No, I haven't. Is it good?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was when like the glasses, right?
Mhm.
Because my eyes are doing this.
Yeah.
And I was like, it is worth the reading the subtitles for hours and hours and hours. And there's like 40 episodes or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's so good. The Pearl Diver. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
Yeah.
But
I'm
for this
watching.
person to come back and be like, well, I think you need to prioritize yourself. And I'm like, what makes you think I'm not?
Right. Yeah.
So
There's
then you mock
personality stuff
me.
here. Mhm.
Right. And then I tell you what it is. So we're clear. And
Right.
then you want to come back and dismiss what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And as if you know what my existence is
Mhm.
more than I do.
Right.
And then believe it or not, it actually continued after I was like, you know, word of advice.
Yeah.
If you're curious about somebody, be curious.
Mhm.
The assumptions come off as being entitled, as if you have more access to awareness of my existence than I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they continued. So we just stopped.
Yeah.
Because again, you can't force somebody to do anything, right? Limits don't work.
Mhm.
Boundaries are not respecting. So bye.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think boundaries are hard because that's one of the things I work with a lot of my clients, is they didn't grow up with boundaries. Like now they're trying to learn in their 30s, their 40s, their 60s, how to set boundaries. And I tell them boundaries for self is protect yourself. And, you know, other people have a right to their emotions, their feelings, their thoughts. However, you have a right to say no, or you have a right to say, this is what I'm doing. And then if they choose not to listen to your boundary, then you have another choice. What are you going to do? So I think boundaries are important to teach at any age,
Right.
you know, just for safety.
Exactly. Well, boundaries, and then, you know, differentiating the difference between a boundary and a limit, right? Because a lot of people confuse the two, where you can't do this to me. They can do whatever they want. That's a limit.
Absolutely.
You can't control that. You can say, I will not be disrespected or spoken to in that way. And if it happens, I'm gonna do blank.
Right.
So that's the boundary part of it. Like, and then you have to follow through. And I know how hard it is for people who don't know how to set boundaries or are like just uncomfortable with setting boundaries to then enforce a consequence.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I will say, I think I had one client earlier. She's like, I set a boundary and I stuck with it. And she was so proud. I'm like, I'm proud of you too. You know, therapy high five. Because I think just seeing people light up with something that they've never done before, that to me is the best part of counseling, is seeing people meet something, you know, within themselves, achieve something, and then, you know, tell themselves that I'm proud of myself. You know, I think that's one of the best parts for me.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
I have a client. She's like, I know you're not going to give it to me. And I was like, what? And she's like, you're not going to say you're proud of me. And I was like, are you proud of you? She's like, you always say that. I was like, because I need you to get there first before I'm like, I'm so proud of you. Because they have to feel that within themselves, right? Instead of, again, me being another person they have to perform for.
Right. Yeah.
Because we're not doing that.
Yeah. Or especially if they have, you know, need external validation. You know, so I'm right there with you. I said, we can walk on this journey, but, you know, you need to be the one ahead of me. Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. I had a client, a young one, and she, not only did she set a boundary, she was so articulate with what the problem was, why it was a problem, and how that's not her responsibility.
Okay.
Right. I was like, she's talking because I hadn't had coffee yet. I hadn't had caffeine yet. Like, you know, any kind of keep it together was not going to happen.
Yeah.
It was just not going to happen. Not that it normally does anyways. I would have smirked or something, but I was like,
yeah, I'm very animated.
What the hell I was doing or why.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you have it, because she's just used to whatever. Clearly she's like, Dr. Habiba's just doing whatever the fuck she's gonna do.
Right.
It didn't even phase her. She was like, we're just gonna let her do. I almost fell out of my chair once, like, because I got so excited for someone, like all those things. And then I was like, think back to 3 months ago. Just 3 months ago.
Yeah.
3 months ago, when I introduced this, you were immediately consumed with fear. It was debilitating.
Right.
Her body sees stuff. The possibility of challenging a parent.
Right.
And I was like, we're not going to be disrespectful. Oh, can you imagine if my boys are disrespectful to me? Please.
Right.
We don't do parenting in this household.
Yeah.
We never have. Right. But I'm also like, I don't lay my hands on my kids or any of that. Right. It's just read lots of books to make sure the parenting part would be healthy. Right. And so, I give them the eye, and that usually works. They scramble, right? To be like, no, let me back it up. Sometimes I have to be like, back that up and try again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
For accountability, right? You have to teach accountability too, all of those things. But that's not something that's common in my culture. That's not something that I was allowed to do. I do it left and right now.
Right.
The last like 15 years, yes, left and right, all kinds of things. My parents, my dad especially, he had to learn that a challenge is not disrespect. Right. I'm disrespectful for fun. Right.
Yeah.
As in, like, I call him by his name. It's like an inside joke, and you don't do that in my culture. But I'd be like, hey, Chontu Bhai, what's up, Chontu Bhai? What you doing, Chontu? Right? Like, you don't do that. That's his nickname that his boys gave him. Like, you don't do that. But I always have.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'll be disrespectful like that, but we don't disrespect in any other ways.
Absolutely.
And so learning also that a boundary is not disrespect. I had to unlearn that. And teaching that to clients is also, you see, it's like one of the ones that I was telling you about earlier today, who was like the stigma. He wasn't understanding the stigma part of it. When I told him a few months ago, I don't know, I have no concept of time, whenever the hell it was. I was like, let's see if we can just understand this in theory. Does it make sense in theory? Like, when I'm talking about the experience, does that make sense? And he's like, okay, in theory, it makes sense. I was like, right. So just let that marinate for a while, and then we'll catch up with the rest of everything that needs to happen before that becomes your own belief system. And so today he had said that he was like, I'm seeing it, and I'm seeing it in theory. And I was like, biggest cheesy fucking grin. Right? When you see them using it, like, that just, I don't know. I love it. I love doing what I do.
Yeah. And I think if it wasn't for self-care, I probably would have been burned out a long time ago. And I think the reason why I chose not to continue working with, sex offenders or the state or federal probation, because it's a lot.
Yes.
It's a lot of generational trauma. It's a lot of nonstop, just in your face, almost to the point where I felt like I was numb. Like, I can't, honestly, to be 100%, I don't think I can hear anything that will shock me now. And that's unfortunate. So when I left, I made it. And did I love that job? I loved it, because I always believe people can change. And so that's one of the things that I taught my clients is, I'm not the same person. And if you're truly not the same person, then you have to abide by these rules and show people. Unfortunately, you have to show people. So I think when I moved here, I was like, I just really want to deal with normal mental health. If there is a normal, then the ones, you're writing psychosexuals, you're going to court. Yeah, that was too much. So I think for me and my health, I had to just take, and I love it. Is it frustrating at times? Because I just want to be the hard charger and, well, this person needs this. But I also know that the clients also have to do it for themselves. So I think just kind of balancing that. But yeah, we can get burned out because it was a lot.
I can imagine. I remember when I first started, like fresh out of school, I was working for a core provider, and that was my one thing. I was like, I am not going to work with sex offenders. I'm not going to. I don't want to. Don't give them to me.
Right.
And where did she throw me into? That's what she threw me in. That was, she's like, oh, guess what you're going to be doing? You're going to be doing group work with a bunch of men who are, they're here because of whatever offenses, the perpetrators. And I was like, I felt so betrayed. And that was, I have to do the work. Right. It is what it is. And I will say there's gratitude for her, not the way she went about doing it. Because again, trust is very, very difficult to earn. Right from me. And then you just go and throw me in the deep end like that without understanding there might be a reason why I said this is off limits.
Yeah, it's not for everyone.
But being able to put aside biases, that you have to, right? The whole we don't judge kind of thing, we don't. And I had to actively work on see them as human beings, right? Not the offense that they're here for when the file is this thick.
Yes.
And grateful. I think we had to do 6 months of it, because that was what was court mandated, and that was the group work. Did it for 6 months, lots of change, lots of growth, lots of understanding. Right. And I was like, do that again and I will quit. Yeah. And I don't want to. I still don't. So kudos to you for choosing to. Again, they are humans. They do need the help. And I am grateful for people like you who do that work and have done that work. I'm not strong enough to.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I started off with the youth. So sexually reactive youth. A lot of people call them sex offenders, but they're not 18. So they're sexually reactive youth. And just seeing, everyone, if this, and a lot of misconceptions, and even people that I would talk to, you're defending them. I'm like, I'm not defending them. I'm just telling you what's fact. Like, if they participate in treatment, like there's 85% that they won't recidivate, and I'm like, I'm not. I was like, you have to understand, take the behavior away from the person, understand where the behavior is coming from. And so that's the way I started with the younger guys. And I will admit, I can account on 2, where you get this little icky feeling right here. I would not want to be caught in a dark alley with them. Right. And they weren't even 18. So, right. So I think what allowed me to transition is, number one, is my boss. He was like one of the foremost providers in the state of Virginia. So I think learning under him and understanding, meeting people where they're at. I don't know what happened in this person's life. I know this is what, your piece of paper. And I said, I want to know you. I read what's on paper. Who are you? And I think coming from that standpoint of tell me who you are, tell me why, I think helped me a little bit. But I will say dark humor, because I did it for 6 years. Dark humor. Yeah.
Well, that's how I felt about substance abuse work that I did. I did that for 10 years. And the domestic violence typically go hand in hand with the substance abuse, as you know. And talk about dark humor. I feel like I already had, my kids laugh now that they're older. They know about how I was in high school and all that stuff. And my dad doesn't help with that either. Right. I swear he gets lots of pleasure and be like, do you know this princess you see in front of you is not what it was? Do you know the fact that she didn't end up in jail? Right. Like things like that. Which again, yes, grateful that I didn't end up, my life would be very different if I got caught doing the things that I did. Yep. But I will say it was always in defense of someone else. Right. If I would see somebody getting hurt or bothered or abused, like I came swinging, and if they wouldn't see it coming, because I told you I'm like 5'2" something, and at that point I was like maybe 110 pounds, not even 130, right? I come flying at them, nowhere, probably banshee screaming. But it was always in defense, right? I was an advocate like that without any real guidance of maybe let's not do that.
Right.
The only guidance I got with that was my dad was like, do not get caught again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not don't do it. Just don't get caught fighting people.
Right. Right. Yeah.
My dad understood, like, and I was taught to defend others from when I was like little, 5, maybe, from my grandfather. And then my dad was also a freedom fighter, right, when he was a teenager. So like that kind of advocacy was big. Right. I wish someone would have also taught me to fight for myself like that, because I didn't. Right. So lots of things happened that didn't need to happen because I wasn't equipped to what do I do if that happens to me.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, my parents loved being like, don't be fooled by this facade you see, because that princess right there, you don't really know what's inside there. You know, and it was like, I don't know. You can't judge people, because if you look at just that, right, I'm a violent person.
Right. Yeah.
But I haven't been in a very, very long time. Right. And then the reason behind that was also very, very different. It's not, I just fought because my ego was bruised, because I never fought for me. Yeah. Right. So I do think it's necessary, but also very difficult depending on the work that you do to strip away the behavior and try to see the person.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think, when you're speaking about domestic violence, I think I had the hardest time working with individuals with domestic violence because I couldn't understand. And that's when I was first starting out. I think it was in a nonprofit for sexual assault survivors. And so we teamed up with a domestic violence shelter, because I didn't understand. Not that I didn't want to understand. I think I was just more frustrated, because I was like, if you know this, why are you doing that? But then I had to look at myself, and I've never experienced anything like that. My parents didn't raise their voices at each other, so I think once I got out of my own way, then, I was able to understand. But for a long time, I knew that I wasn't equipped to work with that population, so I didn't, because I did not want to bring my biases onto them, because I can't, my face is it gives it all away. So I think now I completely understand that I don't have to, been there, but I know I can empathize with the situation. So I think that's something I had to grow into, because I had a really hard time. I can work with sex offenders, I can work with sexual assault, but really hard time with domestic violence. And I'm still working on that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Isn't that funny? Because mine's the opposite, right? I was like, absolutely not, will not do sexual offenders at all. Not okay, not comfortable. But drug abuse and domestic violence, still not okay with it. But I worked with it for a decade.
Yeah.
Now, what does it do to you? How did it impact you? Like with your life, with your views on sexuality, with your views on even expressing sexuality, if you're comfortable talking about that.
I think what it taught me is that a lot of times parents don't listen. And in certain situations, for mine, there was instance in my family, of behavior that could have been checked. But I think that's where the generational curses, the keep the secrets. So I was bullied when I was younger because I was looking. So my mouth was my weapon. And I learned that at a very young age, like, you can whatever, but I'm going to get you in the last, And so I think that with that going on and me trying to advocate, I felt like I can do the most high risk because I've always experienced high risk situation in a sense. And I understood that, but it took me a while to realize why I actually was more comfortable working with a high risk population than it was with just somebody that's depression, because those are some of the situations that I've understood because it's happened in my family or my friends or this. So I can recognize that. And unfortunately, that is more comfortable than just sitting with someone that says, I'm just depressed.
See, and I love the way you phrased it, because if you take that with who you're working with, but then when people are like, well, why do they stay?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And why are they still with somebody that obviously doesn't treat them well? Why would you even choose this person? Mm-hmm. And I'm sick of the blame being on the person that chose the person instead of the person doing the behavior.
Absolutely.
And that's across the board, no matter what
Mhm.
dysfunction we identify,
Right.
right? It's always the victim blame.
Mhm.
Like, well, if she was terrible to you, then why'd you stay?
Right.
Instead of that should have not happened, and that person needs to be held accountable for what they were doing.
Mhm.
Right. But we also choose them based on what is familiar.
Right. Mhm.
Right. And
Yeah.
it's not because it's fun.
Right. Right. Right.
That's just
Absolutely.
the blueprint.
Mhm.
Right. Until you recognize what that is and what that looks like and why it's there, how it shows up, when
Mhm.
it shows up. Do you remember object relations theory?
Yes.
You know, I still cuss that theory out in my head every time it bites me in the ass, every time.
Uh-huh.
Because I'll have like my little moment and I'm like, oh my God, the vibing was there, the clicking was there, all of the things are there, everything's on flow. And then I don't know, however many weeks later, I'm just like, motherfucker, this is object relations again. It's not even you. It's not you. It's not you. It's
Yeah.
whoever you represent. I hate it. I hate that.
Yeah.
Because that theory is just such a mirror
Uh-huh.
for who I've connected with in the past and
Mhm.
why. It's
Yeah.
so annoying.
Yeah. One of the things I work with my clients too is identifying your role in the situation. So I'm not blaming you. We're not talking. What is your role? What was your role in the situation? You know, did you recognize a red flag and was like, I can deal with this? But I think even myself too, what was my, and I tell them too, I have to recognize my role in the situation and what allowed me to stay, you know?
Yep.
So it's more so if you can identify a role without judgment,
Yes.
it just is. Sometimes I think people are able to identify it a lot easier because they don't feel like you're judging them, and they allow themselves not to judge them because it just is like, you know, hey, I didn't have a job at the time, so I stayed. Okay.
Yeah.
So recognizing their role is something that I work with a lot. And I tell them, there's no judgment. I call my door Narnia. That's the Narnia judgment door. Once you come through this door, all judgment's on the other side.
Oh my God, I love it.
So yeah, that's one of the things I work with a lot is what's your role in the situation? Because you need to know your role so that if it starts repeating again, you can recognize it.
Right. And that is the hardest thing is to say, well, I chose it. But then saying that without adding meaning to that.
Right.
I chose it doesn't mean I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. Because
Mhm.
I struggled with self blame and judgment forever, especially with like my kids, you
Right.
know. I was like, you're a therapist and you didn't see this coming.
Right.
And it's like, I'm also human.
Yeah. True.
And it's textbook why I chose the things that I chose in my life.
Right.
Like it's textbook. If literally it's comical how textbook our lives are once you understand it. Like when this happens, typically it's either this happens or this happens. And then when this happens and this happens and this happens, until you understand that pattern, you
Mhm.
just keep repeating it and calling it fate, right?
Mhm.
And it's not. It's choices.
Right.
But it's the meaning that we assign to it that gets us.
Mhm. Absolutely. 100% agree. It's taking the judgment out of, you know, just, I mean, I've made some very unwise decisions in my life and recognizing why I made them because there was a pattern, you know. And so once I recognized, okay, I'm doing this because of this, you know, CBT, I got to change thoughts and feelings before the behavioral change. But I always say I'm gonna change the behavior, but they never did until I started changing the thoughts and feelings. So, you know, I think I tell my clients all the time that I've really worked with and I'm still working with is identifying my role and my patterns in the way that I did things. Oh, I think we paused just for now. I can't hear you now.
Yeah, no, I can hear everything you said, which is good. But mine, it's about to storm over here, so you know, technology.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Ugh. So, question: would you be willing to share what one of these like 4 choices in life were?
Let's see. Look, I can see so many of them. Let's see. I think the individuals that I chose and I recognize it wasn't so much of that I liked them, it was the idea. So I told you my dad passed away when I was 11 or 12. So it's a long space without, you know, I'm just going into dating things without a parental figure. Now I had uncles, I had but I was clueless, floating along, you know. And so those were the people just like dating and choosing the same individual over and over again and wondering why it didn't work. They weren't right for me in the first place.
Were you? I don't know. I'm one of those, and I actually shared this with my soon-to-be 16-year-old because we unfortunately came across someone that I haven't seen since freshman year of college.
Okay.
That did tremendous damage to my entire existence, right? You name it. If you can think it, it happened. And my son was putting away the cart, and then the two people walked in, and the way they were looking at me and the way like my spine just stiffened, and I just kept walking, head held high, didn't make any more, like didn't look down, made straight eye contact. I'm pretty sure all kinds of like fuck you was on my face. I'm because again, I'm sure wasn't trying to. It was just gonna be like, I don't recognize you. We're just gonna keep moving because my son's with me. And Popo would have been called if one of them tried to address me and talk to me, right? And this is the mother of the person that did all the damage, and she was well aware of all of that was happening because I had asked her for help. So I, as a mom now, have a lot of opinions about you allowing that to happen, knowing that all of this was happening, and then being complicit in it, right? And so he came out and he was like, oh my God, that old dude was like staring at you like da da da. And he was like, he couldn't even get the card out because he was too busy like staring with his mouth open. And I was like, yep, they recognized me. And then he was like, he thought it was because this happens just because my family is prominent in the community here. I cannot be found in the community for that very reason. Right? I avoid it for all costs. And also because I want to be accessible and available for people from my community to come seek therapy. Without being worried that I'm in the nonsense and the drama and all of that. Right. So, and I was like, you know what? Actually, and I told him. And the reason I told him is because he's dating age now, right? He's almost 16. It's only so long before that starts. And then my eldest has been and had to learn a lot of things the hard way because of the choices that I made with who I chose to be in relationship with, right? That impacted them. So I was like, let's talk about how delusional you can be when you're determined this is not going to be your story. And I was like, and the healthy part I'm hoping that I'm teaching you is that when you see someone for who they are from the very beginning, you say, no, thank you. And you keep it moving. Not, oh, hell no, this is not going to be my story. I'm going to change the ending and I'm going to make it happen, even though there's other people involved. But that was me. Like, I'm seeing all of this and it's happening, but I'm going to make sure you don't continue. And I'm going to make sure you learn. And I'm going to make sure that this is not my story because this can't be my story. This is not how my life is going to end. And I was like, but do you see how it might have started when I was 17, but it didn't end until recently? Right? I was like, but does it make sense? Does it make sense how you see my pattern of someone treats me horribly, and instead of being like, you're a horrible person, I'm like, I'm gonna make you love me.
I'm gonna change you.
I'm gonna change you. I'm gonna love you so hard, you have no choice but to love me back.
Absolutely.
And he's just sitting, bless him. He was sitting next to me and he was just trying so hard not to laugh. He was like, I can't even imagine you being this person. Because you're right. Me as of the last 12 years, no, you can't imagine that would have been me. But leading up to 12 years ago, that is what mommy did. And that is why I'm so determined to make sure you guys don't do the same thing. You see it, call it for what it is, say no thank you. Not I'm gonna make it be different. Because this happened to me. But so many people do that though, right? Like they're like, they have that investment bias. I've invested this now, whether it's time, whether it's money, whether it's, your integrity, whatever the hell it was, your virginity, you name it.
Right.
And because that's already been taken from me, I need to rewrite the ending.
Right.
Instead of just like calling your losses, catching it, and be like, yeah, that was not great.
I'm gonna
Moving
love you through this.
Yes.
Yep.
Like, are you that delusional? Were you that delusional, or like, hope you weren't? No.
Yes. I just thought if I love someone hard, I could change them. I don't know, that doesn't work.
No. And it's something that I wish somebody would have taught me.
Yeah.
Is ask yourself, do I like the way I feel when I'm in this situation? If the answer is no, not how do I feel about them? What do I think about them? Who are they as people? But sometimes they blank, whatever.
Right.
None of that. Right. Do I like the way this makes me feel about myself and who I am?
Right.
And if the answer is no, then the answer is no. And then we just keep it moving.
Right.
Say thank you next. I wish somebody would have been like, how do you feel?
Right. Yeah. Or I just love him, but how to feel?
See, sometimes I mean, again, working with some of the population that I've worked with, I work a lot with human trafficking cases also. I do a lot of immigration work. It's very important to me. And people seeking asylum and all of the things, right? So you hear the worst of what people have unfortunately had to endure to try to have a different life here, a better life for themselves and other people. And so when I hear but I love him, sometimes my face and sometimes my mouth goes, and?
Yeah.
Like, and? What does love have, Tina?
Right, absolutely.
What does love have to do with it? Nothing. Nothing. Love has absolutely nothing to do with a healthy relationship. Nothing.
Yeah.
Why don't we teach that to young ones?
And just like coping skills, why don't we teach them how to cope?
Hi. Yes.
Yeah. And or even what consent means. When I was working with the sexually abused, people like, Miss Monica, I didn't know. I said a lot of times we don't know. So yeah.
Yeah. So that, like you were saying, when you're working, you're the case manager, you're the this, you're the this, you're the that. I'm the same. Like, I'll be in my dress and on my heels, and then I've taught a young girl to check her oil, check her tires, how to do all of that.
Yeah.
Taught young men how to change their tires in my parking lot because they didn't have that role model.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I will be whatever it is you need me to be. Right.
Yeah.
Because they don't have that access. And there's so much that I'm like, I wish someone had taught me, right, that I try to then be for them.
Right.
One of my young clients, she's like, it's like, do you know how to check your oil and how to check your tires and everything? Because she's moving out of state. And she's like, I mean, I have a Mercedes. And
they still break down.
They still break down. You're still going to bust your tire.
Yeah.
She's like, well, I have AAA. Oh, no. No. If I know how to change a tire, you need to know how to change a tire.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, let's go. And she was like, are you for real? I was like, let's go. Life skills. It's time for life skills. So, yeah, I appreciate you for all that you do.
Thank you. Same to you. I would say that we're doing things that we're not taught.
See, and I think that's the difference, right? With where we as humans show up in our profession.
Right.
I think you do what you do because of who you are, not necessarily just what you were taught.
Yeah. I could never be a stiff person. Yeah. So it's I'm all over the place, because ADHD is a thing. So My clients.
Yes. Yes. Oh yeah. We joke about it. And my clients that have also ADD, like when we're in session together and we're bouncing from topic to topic to topic to topic, and then we still come back to that one and then the other also, it is hilarious. Sometimes I'm just like, can you imagine if there was a camera in here? It would be entertaining for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sorry?
I said I use a lot of humor too.
Yes. Oh, you have to. You work with trauma stuff. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to. Otherwise, we just cry.
True.
You know, one of the activities, like you were saying with Dr. Brack did one where they had us create a human. Do you remember this one? It was for one of the trauma classes. Huh?
I don't remember that one.
So we had to, the instructions were just make a person. And I was like, I need more direction because I need to know how to get an A. Because at that time I was still very much, an A means success and success means I'm worthy.
Right.
And I still have my doll because I went and bought a doll. And I remember people were like they made almost puppets, right? Or just some were 2D, some were 3D or whatever. And all of that had a meaning. Okay. The ones that were 2D had a meaning. And you had to give this person that you created an identity and a story and everything. And he analyzed the crap out of it. Oh my God. I still do that with my clients.
Okay.
Still, like, give me a person. Do not give them any instructions, which is awful and mean. I still think it's mean. Because everybody scrambles to like, but what do you want from me? I want to please you, right? And yeah, I still remember that because I think about it was female that I created, and I think about her because she is the version of me that I had always hoped that I would be. That was not attainable, or so I thought.
Right.
And it was hilarious. I'm evil. It's hilarious now. Okay. He was like the people there were evil. I think so because Dr. Brack, they came over and picked a few and then analyzed it. And I was one of the ones. Exposure. Damn. Talk about being seen. And the adjectives used were put together. It's made out of wood, so it's solid and it's grounded and it's earthy and it's logical. And I was just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Right? This was like, I'm trying to make a person. And at that point, I didn't know anything about psychoanalytical anything, right? And then still gets to me now. Like I can still see it happening. And then Dr. Brack goes, but that's the structure. The face is 2D because I printed out, I had like J-Lo's jacket, right, from Made in Manhattan. I had Anne Hathaway's head. And I don't know whose, shoes at that time, but like it was all kind of like pieced up with the perfect image. So Dr. Brack goes, the front is 2D though, because you see the perfect version from the front, but you see nothing from behind. So you never really know what's behind the facade. And I was like, oh, ew, how dare you? And at that time, I've spent my life trying to be invisible. Right. Even up to that point. And I was in a relationship and I was pregnant with the second one. I just had the first one. So I'm over here trying to fucking survive. And you are just calling it out. Like, from the front, it looks just great and everything is put together and everything is as it should be. But when you turn it around, you don't really know what's going on the inside. And I was like, you stop it. Like I wanted to hiss at Dr. Brack. Dr. Brack, if you're watching any of this, love you very much. And then she goes, even though it's sturdy, it can easily fall over. And I was like, nope. No, it's not, because I had a stand. That's what it was. Take the stand away and it'll fall over. And I took the stand off like after they walked away. I took the stand off and I had her standing flat footed because it was one of those like mannequin type things, right? That's like this big.
Yeah.
And then Dr. Brack's walking around talking and teaching about why this and how and where this theory comes from and everything, and flips her over. Like just walks by and just flicks her down and then goes, like I said, stronger when supported, but easily will fall over when not. Look for support. What do you mean look for support? What do you mean? What do you see? How dare you?
Yes.
And I still use that technique.
Yeah.
I fucking love that technique because it's just, it is. Again, I didn't know that at the time, right? I didn't know what was happening. I just felt picked on.
Yeah.
And seen, very vulnerable seen. One of my favorite humans.
Yeah.
Dr. Brack is definitely one of my favorite humans.
Yeah. And we learned a lot. It wasn't easy.
So much. Not at all.
Yeah.
Ugh. I'm excited about like the new generations of therapists too.
Oh, absolutely.
It's so cool. So cool to see everybody come through.
Right?
Also, being able to mentor and stuff.
The people being more open to understanding mental health is wonderful.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Monica. Thank you for sharing your life with me, with our listeners, whoever's watching. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And thank you to everyone that's listening and following along and, well, trying to follow along because, you know, none of this is ever planned. Thank you for going on our tangents with us. And we'll talk next time.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.